brother-in-law over there.
1 minute. Oh, 1 second. Need to turn the camera around. Hey everyone, okay, so for those who are tuning in, we're outside the slaughterhouse right now, and we're just having a chinwag about, and I feel like you guys should come and get involved on this conversation that we're having about what people go through working in these places, what people have heard, seen. I mean, I might even just squeeze us all in so we can all get in. So like we're here at the slaughterhouse in solidarity with 21, 22 activists locked on to inside that slaughterhouse. Are locked on and basically are asking that the place to be closed down. These guys were caught basically slitting chickens' necks, and they were sticking them into a boiling hot water alive. And what were you just saying about what they were talking about with like the hunting type of thing?
Yeah, okay, so I was saying that my dad, when he was younger, he spent some time in a slaughterhouse, and he had some friends that worked there as well, and he was saying that they used to, and this was also like a free-range farm as well, where the chickens like roam free. But when it was time to slaughter, they were slaughtered. So basically, what happened was the workers used to take bets on the chickens, and they'd cut their heads off, and they'd make them run in a race, and they'd see which ones they bet on which one would fall first, so which one would actually die first. And that is just disgusting behaviour in itself, and immoral and unjustified. And it just goes to show that over the time of them working there, how desensitised they were to what was actually happening to these birds. And this was a supposed free-ranged farm. Yeah. And my dad tried to get me to work in one when I was like 18, 19, and I said, no way. And I ate meat then. Even then, I was like, no, I will not work in that place because it'll probably turn me off meat for the rest of my life. Yeah. Wow. And I even looked into it, and I did some research to myself, and what I found on the internet, I was just like, and he wants me to work in that place? Like, I loved animals. I love my dog, I love my cat, I had a snake, I had a rabbit, I had all these different pets, and he just wanted me to, work in a place like this, and I'm like, it's not going to happen. But
did you guys get that? Like, people are slitting the necks of animals, putting them on the floor and letting them run, and having bets on which one falls first.
No, Mippy, they cut their heads off.
They cut their heads off,
and then because they run around, they still run around even after their heads are cut off.
Does this seem normal to you? Normal behaviour? Any animal lover out there? This is what's going on in our farms. This is what's going on in our things. This is like I want the viewers, and we're like, wow, this is nuts.
And then we wonder why there's violence from humans to humans.
Yeah, exactly. And the leading and the most common trait when it comes to serial killers and sociopaths and psychopaths is animal abuse first.
Yeah,
they hurt animals before they go on to humans.
Yeah, that's true, guys.
And there's a very strong connection between those who work in slaughterhouses and
domestic violence.
Yeah.
Strong connection, but nobody wants to discuss
alcoholism, drug abuse, PTSD, everything.
Most people who work in slaughterhouses end up becoming abusive partners.
They have the highest rates of PTSD.
Yeah,
and
the highest.
More than any other industry.
Is it that any other industry? Even I didn't know that.
It's actually there's a special kind of traumatic stress syndrome that's for people with perpetrators of violence.
Yeah.
So it's called perpetrator-induced traumatic stress, and it's particularly for those.
It's a little bit louder, don't it? Hey, I don't know if anyone's can see or hear. Can anyone hear? Can we hear everyone? Okay. Let me get the speech bubbles up.
Is anyone there or not?
Who cares? We can crop it later.
But it is interesting having these conversations. And a lot of us are from dairy farms. A lot of us are from farming families.
Yeah.
So when farmers say to us, you don't know about farming. Actually, a lot of the reason we're vegan is because we are.
Yeah. Well, partly what Ian told me, how he literally. Here he is now. Ian, tell the people about your childhood and what you witnessed. Tell them everything.
Oh yeah, well actually my mum was actually the daughter of a biologist, a marine biologist, so for most of her life, she really had the right idea, but in her second marriage she married a farmer, a truck driver. We diverged into agriculture, freight business, and
And how old were you when that happened?
8 years old, so you're going from learning about you're going from like beach cleans to, you know, just, you know, murder and trying to understand it on an everyday basis, or facilitating murder, prepping the murder. Do you know what I mean?
See, you okay on that?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
And I hope so. Yeah, it's just nuts, you know. And then obviously, I always say to people, like, if I ever make like a report to the RSPCA or to anyone, I always say, wherever you find, you know, struggling on you'll find farms, you'll find animal cruelty, you'll find human cruelty, you'll find the whole box and dice. Like, you won't just find one little element of it.
Yeah, the whole thing, the whole package.
Yeah, I was, you know, and in the midst of that, I was lucky enough to meet a man who had killed his best friend in a hay baling accident with machinery. Completely gave up everything that, you know, with farming, everything that he believed and had practiced, and you know, and this was one man in the middle of New Zealand where I lived at the time, in the middle of all these people trying to get farmers to change their minds, you know, back in the middle of the 90s when it just wasn't happening. In New Zealand, a country that thrives off agriculture, just like this country.
Tell them how you helped take the baby calves away from their mothers.
Oh yeah, so the first...
So you worked on a dairy farm, and
I mean,
do you remember
the abuse in my direct family got too much, so I was moved to my stepfather's brother's family, and they were into dairy, so I went from beef to dairy. So, you know, they would wake us up at 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning, get us out there, forcing heifers, young female cows that aren't used to, you know, that don't want to be milked, even though they've been induced to be milked. You know, these are Jersey cows, some of the most emotional of the actual species. They will show you what they're feeling. So, you know, and so in calving season, it is literally like you see. I've literally done it. No one has like a different method. It's all the same. It's a calving trailer. You attach it to a ute or a quad bike. You go around. You will walk up to the calf. You will pick them up by their front legs and their back legs. You throw them into the trailer. Honestly, people like them to hit the trailer because well, I guess that, you know, evidently they're obviously an angry person inside anyway, but I think that, you know, there's a part of it that they think, you know, subdues the calf or something, and then, you know, the mum will...
So they purposely throw it hard into the calf to start that level of fear into the animals.
Definitely. Yes.
So because like all these farming practices, like, I don't know if you guys are aware, but all these farming practices, like, if you've been near any animals, like a cow or sheep or anything that have not been abused by humans, they're just like our dogs, man. They love being belly tickled. They like having their ears scratched. And like this guy just said. So what was your name again? Ian. Like Ian just said, when he was a little boy and was on a dairy farm, he was taught to grab the baby cows and throw them hard into the thingy. And it's, you know, from the word go, we want to put fear into these animals because these animals are going to grow big. We want them scared of them so that we can take whatever they want from them.
And the farm children, they put fear into the farm children as well. They put it into,
show them who's boss.
You know, like my step cousins are teaching me, and they're like, you know, I know these are young girls and they don't want to do it, but they're putting on a brave face for their dad. Do you know? I can remember the first time I did it, walking around trying to sing a Chemical Brothers song at the top of my lungs because I couldn't actually handle what I was doing. And, you know, I'm pretty sure every farmhouse dinner table, pretty much, you know, they might say their grace or their prayer or whatever because, you know, a lot of, you know, that helps them feel better. But then a lot of jokes happen about the animals at the dinner table, you know, and when children are young, it's so common that they're told that the animal that they first bonded to is going to end up being eaten by them. So, and that is like such a common thing. I mean, I can't think of how many people I've known
imagine that being a dog for the average person who's not a farmer. Can you imagine growing up living with animals and loving the animals, like, and then being told that, you know, that animal's life isn't worth it, and then you have to sit there at the table and eat it. My friend Annie, who's actually locked in there today, she's from one of the farming communities, and she remembers coming home from school and her dad called her pet pig. Her pig was given to her, and it was called Chrissy because it was going to be killed for Christmas. And she remembered coming home from school and seeing the pig on the truck, and she dropped her bag and she ran as fast as she could after that car, crying, pleading with him not to kill her pet. Now these are just social conditioning, guys. For the average city person, they won't have to witness this, but these kids in farms are bullied by their own parents so they can make money, and then they're just desensitized.
And then over time it becomes something where it doesn't even affect them at all.
Yeah.
As they get older.
Yeah, it's so true. It just becomes a thing.
But Ian still has nightmares from when he was a child for what he...
Oh, I can imagine.
Like I was saying to Mippy before, when I turned up here, as soon as I got up the car there, like a couple of 100 metres up the road, that smell was so familiar to me, and I haven't smelt that smell in probably over, 20 years. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I got out and
Triggers
I was
off
like, I
alive.
know what that is.
Yeah.
That's the oils of their skin that I can smell. That's poultry. That's the oil on their skin, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's chickens being boiled that you can smell. Like, you can literally smell that shit. It's
Yeah.
foul.
Yeah.
What was the experience of the mother cows? Like you would take the child away, the calf away.
Yeah, so they always separate the babies immediately to raise separately. So
this guy who works at a dairy farm, for those who are tuning in, when dairy cows give birth, like, and I want all mothers out there to remember this, that they feel just as much pain as we do when we give birth. They go through exactly the same thing any female on this planet goes through when giving birth, and they feel that baby growing inside of them kicking for 9 months. Yeah, they have their babies for 9 months. They have that full bond and everything. And what did you say when as soon as they were given birth, and as a child he was made to take them off, and these babies are taken off them at birth.
Yeah, and these are adults that you look to when you're a child to explain the logic of what's happening. So of course, you have a million questions, and these people have been conditioned themselves, so they have a million answers that they've been conditioned to themselves. Mippy was just talking before about the pig having the nickname Chrissy for Christmas.
Yeah.
I can't think of how many times I've heard that, and that's what I was saying before. The sense of humour that comes to the dark sense of humour that comes to the dinner table.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's hardcore conditioning on human beings really young, and that's what we see here when we see the workers here. Some of these workers are migrant workers that they will work in these conditions because they have better values than our westernized values. They will work hard to earn their money, and that's horrible what they're having to do to earn it. If they've come from a culture where they've had to do it anyway, they should be coming here to liberate themselves of having to do that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And we should be supporting people in that way.
And what I want to say to everyone is, like, violence breeds violence. Hence why, like we were just saying, like, people who work in these slaughterhouses have the highest rates of what words are used?
Perpetrator-induced traumatic stress.
Do you say that again for the camera?
Perpetrator-induced traumatic stress.
Do you hear that, guys? So, like, when people work in it, they think about it, good energy. You walk into a room, you know when there's a negative energy. If you feel like there's an atmosphere, if you surround yourself with fear and beings screaming around you day in, day out, and all those fear and screams, you're the one having to kill them. What does this do to you as a person? This no wonder why these people turn violent on their own kind. It has the highest links. Any person who's a psychologist will tell you this. It's like people who enjoy killing animals. They start off in animals. Those that start off are usually your serial killers, paedophiles, rapists, and we don't want to keep breeding this. Some people are forced to be in there against their will. And they don't want to be in there, and they're constantly surrounded by this negative energy. This energy has to come out some way, and this energy also comes out when you eat this, guys. There's a Japanese thing that this Japanese scientist, where you go and get yourself. Can you just hold this for me? You can get a jar about this big. You can see this or whatever.
Oh, and
fill it up.
Water?
Yeah. So you get about this much rice. Fill it up with water. put the word happy on it. They get this jar, all you and your mates can do at home. You get this jar, you say to all the things that make you happy, all the things you feel with your love and happiness, and then you remove that jar out of the room, you get another jar. And that second jar, you get, put the word sad on it, and then you tell all the things that make you sad. And for like 3 to 5 minutes, and then remove that jar, put it into another room, and then get your third jar and put the words sad and fear and angry on it, and then you scream, you shout, you tell all the things that make you angry, make you sad, and then put the jars next to each other. And I'm not joking, in like, you wake up in the morning, your happy jar, the water is as clear as day. The sad jar is like murky and you can't even see through it. And then your angry fear jar is like, it's gone brown, it's gone orange. And that's water. Water holds memory. Our bodies are made up of 90% water. You are what you eat. If you're putting this in your body, it's got to come out some way. And we wonder why we have the highest rates of depression and stuff like that. You are what you eat. Your food is a medicine. Like, if you're, don't be putting fear and anxiety into you. Don't be putting animals into you that don't want to die. If you can do that with a jar of water of 3 to 5 minutes, can you imagine what it's like for an animal that's had a lifetime of misery and then was tortured to death in front of his own friends and family, and then you put that in here? What do you think's going to happen? And here we are with depression, and I've got an anger problem. It's not that, it's what you're putting in there. We're all energy, we're big balls of energy. And don't tell me you've never walked into a room and you've never felt an atmosphere. This is the exactly same thing. I'm asking every single one of you to go and do this test yourselves so you can see it for yourself. You don't even have to even involve an animal. But we know our bodies are made up of 90% water. And when I say our bodies, that's including the animals, because they're not a product. They are somebody. They're a person. And for those people who don't know what the word person means personality. Every being is a personality. You tell me 2 dogs that had the exactly same personality, or 2 cats. I've even had fish with their own personality. Come on, guys, think about it. We need to stand together to create better health for us, to make sure everybody's safe, because we don't want people working in there when they don't have to, getting angry, taking it out on their kids and their partners, because that's what's happening. Nobody likes talking about that, but this is a fact. These people are forced to work in there, animals are forced to be in there against their own kind, against their own will, tortured to death, and then we're absorbing it, it's coming out of us, and then we're all making ourselves depressed while we're going nom 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 for 5 minutes. Think about it. A lifetime of misery, so what? We can go num num num, that felt great. And the amount of fake meats out there, I tell you what, guys, I'll be the first person to say I wasn't brought up a vegan, I wasn't brought up a vegetarian. I probably ate about a farm. I love the taste of meat. But you know what? There's so many good mock meats out there. You don't need to eat animals. You don't need to put this negativity inside of you. Like, it's the time you took your blinkers off and woke up. Here we are, sat outside, and we're in the sun, and even though there's 22 people locked on inside this slaughterhouse from boiling animals alive, slitting their throats and then putting them in the boilers while the wings are still flapping. Google it, you'll probably find it. It made it on the mainstream news. Did they close the slaughterhouse down? No, they didn't. Has anything different happened? No, it hasn't. It's still carrying on. And why is that? It's because it's making too much of this. Not one of these people are here to make a bit of money. We're here because we can see suffering. We can hear their screams. They're not voiceless. I mean, Jesus, any animal screaming, you know, that's I don't want to die. I can't speak cow, pig, chicken, or any of those languages, but I know what pain is. You kick a dog, I can't speak dog, but I know when it's yelping, it's in pain. Come on. It's time to open up your hearts, open up your souls. Look deep within inside of every single one of you. We don't need to do this to them. They haven't done anything wrong. Think about it. How many of you have got a budgie or a lorikeet or what other birds that people have as pets? Cockatoos, everything. But chickens are just the same.
In some countries, people eat rats and mice, like China and Asian countries. But over here, we have rats and mice as pets.
Yeah. We actually even eat horses. Look at the horse meat scandal in England. Now people's that said vegetarian. Oh my God, we're eating a horse instead of a cow. There's no difference, you muppet. Yeah. Jesus, wake up. Hello. Still got a brain. Sorry, I'm getting ranty because I'm passionate. I don't turn into an arsehole when I get ranty. I just get really honest.
What about when people say, some people say, well, you know, what about the Eskimos, or what if I was on a desert island, or humans have been eating meat since the caveman time? Well, if you're a caveman, then come and talk to me and we'll have that conversation. Or if you're an Eskimo, come and talk to me and we'll have that conversation. Or if you're on a desert island, come and talk to me and we'll have that conversation. But as long as we are living in an industrialised world with plenty of plant-based protein and plant-based food, and we're destroying the environment, and we're using 80% of our land to farm animals, to kill them, to degrade the Great Barrier Reef, to pollute our waterways, to pollute our airspace, to harm our own bodies, to harm the environment, and to kill others. As long as we're doing that, we're not subsistence farmers, we're not Aboriginals. That's a whole different world, and you can't say, well, what about the Aboriginals? That was a different time. We destroyed them as well.
Yeah, we destroyed their culture.
Exactly.
Sadly, most of them don't even live by their culture. And they're like, and any Aboriginal culture out there, it says only ever take what you need. Unfortunately, the white people came here and we took so much that now Australia has got the highest extinction rate of native wildlife and plant fauna than anywhere else in the world. Their culture, it says only take what you need. We took too much. The stop button got pressed a long time ago because most of them have died, and they're still dying. We can't actually touch anymore because it's only ever take what you need, and we've gone way past that. And for all those people go, oh, but what happens if you're on a desert island? This is my question to you. If we live in a world full of abundance of food, why would you still kill anybody and take everything away from somebody who didn't want to die just for your own gain, when you could gain, when you have food readily available at any given opportunity?
And also, we're taking the world's grain out of the mouths of hungry children in poor countries, and we're putting it into the mouths of animals so we can kill them and eat them. So we're not only harming animals, we're not only harming our own bodies, we're contributing to world hunger. I mean, it's insane.
And even
this idea of a rational human, what we're doing is irrational. It's insane.
And even with the indigenous people, do you know how many indigenous people were set on fire for animal feed? So about 2 years ago, and it's very hard to find the information about this online, so I tried linking it up because I read about it years ago, because over a thousand activists have been murdered in the Amazon rainforest.
Something like that.
Wow. I think I've heard about that,
So over 1,000 activists have been murdered trying to get the truth out there about the deforestation for animal feed, to feed animals in factory farms. Indigenous people of the Amazon rainforest, women and children, were set on fire for our food's food. Do you not understand this? People are being murdered for our food's food, and they aren't even food anyway. Do you know what I mean? These are people and there's many reasons why people should go vegan, for humanitarian reasons. Sorry, Ron.
And you see on the news or something different every day. Like, I saw a heartbreaking photo of a polar bear starving to death in the Antarctic, and people are like, it's because we're doing this and we're doing that. But no, we're contributing to that. And you can't sit there and say that climate change is something that's been around forever, because it hasn't, because our population has increased. And the fact that our population has increased, the demand for meat and dairy products has increased, which is leading to, exactly like the destruction of our world, deforestation, climate change, global warming. And, I saw something the other day about a koala. Some land has been cleared. Koalas are bound to be endangered over the next couple of years, because they're clearing land for farming practices for animals, so we can raise more animals and kill more animals, for the fact that people just want to eat it.
And this isn't even something that, like, on an indigenous basis, this isn't even something that I think that, like I talk to some of my indigenous family, cousins and stuff, and I think, surely this isn't something we stand for, like our sovereign species,
slavery
being slaughtered. We designated the chickens, turkeys, ducks, pigs, sheep, cows.
And they're all indigenous from somewhere as well.
They're all indigenous from somewhere.
Southeast Asia, from parts of Europe.
Yeah, and if we were doing this to our native species, I know that our first people would get up in arms and jump up about it.
Totally.
And this is the diet that we've put we've put on them by stealing this country. We've put this diet on the people, and we've inflicted this upon the animals, and we've taken it away. I mean, no other country in the world eats their national emblem at such a at such a
Well done, Australia.
It's such a
Aussie.
crazy rate.
And we slaughter kangaroo for their leather. The strongest leather to ever exist is kangaroo. If you see anything that says genuine leather, that means it's kangaroo.
Doesn't matter if it's from a kangaroo, cow, or anything, guys. Like, come on. And like, if we're going to talk about a species, like humans thinking they're above anything, one thing I'd like to point out now with kangaroos is the fact that when a kangaroo gives birth, right? So a kangaroo. Thank you. That people are beeping their horns going past, supporting us what we're doing. So I want to talk about animals and how strong they are, and when they are born onto this planet. Kangaroo is a perfect example of this. So a kangaroo.
I think we're gonna go and do it.
Gotta go.
Okay,
bye.
We'll carry on this conversation in the future. Speak to you soon.